This is an SM Media production. Hi everyone and welcome to this week's episode of All Time 11 right here on SM Media. I'm Scott McPike, delighted to be your host again. I'm joined this week by the former Ross County, Motherwell and Wycombe Wanderers man, Stephen Craig. Stephen, thanks very much for being on the show, mate. Pleasure to have you.
No problem, pleasure to be on.
How are you doing, all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Keeping busy. Like I say, it's just good that football can continue during this tough time, but staying busy.
Definitely. And what you been up to? Like, that's how glad you to have football back, and what you been kind of doing?
I've got my own coaching company called Planet Soccer, so that's going really, really well, considering the restrictions that are in place just now. Obviously, it's been well emphasised how important the health and well-being of kids are just now. And obviously, it's been boosted by a tremendous result the other night with the national team. So
Definitely.
I can only bode well for the national game, and doing my bit for Dundee United as well. So keep busy, mate.
Brilliant, mate. Delighted to hear that. Just before we go on to your naming your team, is it going to be players you've played with or played against?
Players I've played with.
Players you've played with. And have we got a formation in mind?
Yes, I've got a 4-3-3.
Brilliant. Just the last thing as well, were you putting yourself in?
No.
Brilliant.
Nah.
Brilliant.
And the forward line was far too. The talent was totally out with my talent. I couldn't at least have half their boots, so couldn't put myself in the team.
Brilliant. Just as well, like, obviously your dad Joe was obviously a pretty good player himself. Played with Celtic. Like how much of an influence was he in your career?
Massive. I think up until my mid-20s, it was obviously the biggest factor. Obviously, I grew up always being reminded that my dad played for Scotland and played for Partick and Celtic and things like that. So it was a massive honour for me.
Yeah.
I first broke into the professional scene when I was 17, 18. I wasn't Stephen Craig, I was Joe's boy, which but my dad's kind of, his way was that like he's had his time, so just let the laddie be, really. But I had massive influence. Like I says, we both played in the same position. We're both strikers, but we were totally different.
Brilliant. And obviously you played for a few good clubs like Motherwell, Ross County, Wycombe, places like that. Where would you say was your kind of best spell of your career?
I've been asked that a few times. It's hard to say. I enjoyed most places that I know I'm going to sound a bit corny here, but I generally enjoyed most places I played.
Right. Okay.
Team. Obviously, my 4 years up in the Highlands was really good, really successful. I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Partick Thistle, even though it was only for 8 months, but resulted in a promotion. And my time down south, I thoroughly enjoyed just trying something new and playing against different players and different stadiums and things like that. So I think it's hard to really pick one. So I think the 3 was probably my most favourite times.
Brilliant. Well, let's get straight down to it. Let's start off with the goalkeeper. Who we got between the sticks?
Between the sticks, I'm going with Gordon Marshall.
Right. Okay.
So I played with Marsh when I was at Motherwell, my second year, and I was only 22 at the time, 23, and it was just, obviously, I think he did a great career at Celtic and things like that. It was just the way he conducted himself, the way he trained, the way he looked after himself. And I got on great with Marsh. With a couple of nights out, I'd sit and pick his brains and basically annoy him.
Yeah.
I just loved the way that he went about his business and how good a pro he was.
Brilliant. And just to while we're on that as well, like, it was a big vocal point in the dressing room. Like, you were young, like, would they help you through it, like during the game, like would they talk young lads through how we kind of conduct ourselves on the park?
He's the first. I think he was the first goalie that I was only 22, 23, but he commanded respect. I can remember we were doing a shooting drill, and I think David Partridge kind of in fact, they were doing a goalie drill, and David Partridge kind of walked through it, and he just got a ball and he tried to volley and hit Parto with it. Just like, and it was sort of like, this is, the goalies are working, stay away, like, have a bit of respect. And I just, like I said, I just learned so much off him. He used to come in, he was always in the gym. He used to come in and he used to eat the right things, and like you could tell even now he still looks a fit guy. But just the way he conducted himself, the things he said before, during, and after a game, you listened. Everybody listened. So it was just, probably the most. I looked up to him because obviously the career he had, and every word he said, I kind of hung off the back of it a wee bit. But it was a pleasure to share a dressing room with him.
Brilliant, very good. We'll move on to right back. Who's in there?
Right back. So this is not because of the exploits of the night there, but I'm going for probably the most all-rounded right back. It's probably Stephen O'Donnell.
Right. Okay.
Time at Partick, so Sod as we called him. He'd just been released for Celtic, and I can remember the first 2 or 3 weeks just thinking that we had him, good Sod on the right side, and with Aaron Taylor Sinclair on the left at Partick, and as such a dynamic duo, the two of them could do everything. And I think Stephen's he's just propelled at every level he's went to. I know he went down south, he was at Luton and then came back up the road, and since he's obviously his Kilmarnock days and now his Motherwell days, he's just propelled himself every level he's went at. He's kicked on, and it just goes to show that night how good he's been.
Mm-hmm. Could you see that then, though, that he would go on to be a top player, like just his potential and his work rate?
I knew he would go Premier League.
Right.
He could possibly play Championship down south because his physicality wise, he's very fit. And he's a perfect modern day fullback, isn't he? He gets up and down, he chips in with occasional goals, and he's daft. And he'll bore you to tears sometimes, but just a really dead grounded, and just was a talent.
Brilliant, delighted. We'll move on to left back. Who's on the other side?
Left back, so I'm going to go for one of my ex-Motherwell teammates, Stevie Hamill.
Okay.
I think when I first joined Hamill, obviously he came through the under-21s at Scotland, and I knew he'd been playing first team football since I think he was 18, 19. I think the time that I joined, he'd had like 150, 200 appearances underneath his belt. Just a very consistent performer. I think I was surprised that some of probably the big 3 or 4 clubs in Scotland didn't take him. I know he did have offers, but I know he was extremely loyal to Motherwell, and even when he went down south to Southend, I know he had a successful stint down there, and we kind of kept in touch. We've got friends in common, and just a really, really good left back. And my second season at Motherwell, I ended up playing wide left because we sold Stephen Pearson. And he helped me massively. Just kind of taught me through the game. He told me to stay high, don't worry about the wide man. I'll take him, and we forged a really, really good partnership. It was a pleasure to play in front of, really.
Brilliant. And we'll move on to left centre half.
Left centre half, so it's my first season at Wycombe, so it's a young lad called Courtney House.
Okay. Yep.
Courtney's now, he's at Aston Villa.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So Courtney was only, I think he was about 18 when he first went down, very raw, but it was just his physique and how quick and how good he was in the ball. He was left-sided, and I knew it was just a matter of time. First 3 or 4 months of the season, we knew that he wasn't going to struggle to keep a hold of him. And in the December, was it just before December, he was getting highly linked, and then in the January he went. So I was disappointed to lose him, but so you can obviously go and see he's went in. He's good. Well, he's having a great career.
Do you think he's still quite young as well? Isn't he? You think he'll kick on further?
I think he could. He's got everything. He has. He's really got everything. He's a ball player centre half, but he's quick. He's strong. He can be very aggressive, and he's left-sided.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a left-sided quick centre half. There's no man I'm going about.
Definitely. Brilliant. And we'll move on to who partners him alongside at right centre half.
this kind of mirrors what happened. So my second year at Wycombe, we lost Gary Docherty.
Right, okay.
We were supposed to start the season. He hurt his knee. We were playing a friendly against Barnet. So obviously Doc was a massive miss. Ex-Spurs and Norwich legend. And then we've got a young kid called Alfie Mawson on loan.
Yep.
Loan from Brentford, and they didn't. They had basically said, look, you can have him. He had no first team experience. Came in, and remember the first session, he's spreading the ball out wide, like he's hitting his 40, 50 yard diagonals with his right and left foot. And I remember saying to assistant manager Richard Dobson, I was like, where'd you get this kid? He told him. In that season, I think he played every single minute. And then the Barnsley came in and bought him.
Yeah.
And then he went to Swansea, then he's kicked on again. He's a noise about out the picture, but I did get asked about him of a top Premier League club in Scotland about 4 or 5 years ago, and they should have signed him, because obviously you can see now he's probably priced himself at a move to Scotland. But what a talent, such a humble kid. I think his dad's got a fruit and veg stall somewhere, but just a lovely boy, and just an unbelievable talent. Could do everything. Never had any genuine pace, but for somebody that his first season in first team football, especially in League Two, he just as they say down here, they just ate it up. He never lost his composure, never got roughed up. Hardly picks up any bookings. He's always fit. Just a good boy. So again, it was. I only played him for a season. To think what it was like then compared to what it'll be like now. So you can see why he's been right to the top.
Definitely brilliant. It's not a bad defence so far. I don't think there's many goals going in there, do you?
No, there's not many goals going in. You've got two dominating centre halves, and obviously you've got a right back likes to get forward, and Stevie Hammer's got a one-day left foot. So, and the experience he marched behind him, so it's not a bad back five.
Brilliant, great start so far. We'll move on to the midfield. Are you playing with a holding midfielder and two alongside him, or is it going to be like how you work in the midfield?
Yeah, I'm going to play with one sitter and two getting forward. So my sitter's going to be Lee Makel.
Okay.
So I was fortunate to play 2 seasons at Levy with Makes, and obviously I think we just signed him off Dunfermline.
Yeah.
I played against him, I think, when he was at Hearts as well, and we knew his pedigree, how he started off at Newcastle, went to Blackburn and things like that, and just a genuine ball player. Things he used to do with the ball, he was never the biggest, never the quickest, but just his passing range, and I think he must have set up at least half my goals.
Really?
When just a top guy as well.
Really underrated player as well, I thought.
I remember we went to that, was it Soccer World or something in Glasgow. Kevin Keegan was kind of running it, the place you go inside.
Yeah.
Kevin Keegan was there. So Robbo took us when we were at Livy, and I remember that I was listening. Kevin was talking to mates and was just saying, like, if you'd had pace, you would have played in my team.
Right.
See, that's the fine lines of being a great player and being a good player. But you can see everywhere he went, he played, and he was very successful up here, obviously with Hearts and Dunfermline.
Yeah, that's right. Very good player. Who's on the left side of the midfield?
On the left side again, so it's a kind of like the Alfie Mawson situation. When I left Aberdeen, I went to Dundee, and Alan Kernahan was having to revamp the squad, and we played a lot of young boys. And one of the young boys to kind of kick-start his professional career was Big Kev McDonald.
Yep, that's right.
So Big Kev was, it was just the same sort of scenario with Alfie. Just his first real season playing first team football. He was 6'2", 6'3". He could get about the pitch. He was composed. He could defend. He could score goals, and I was just like, thought to myself, like, this boy, he's just got no fear. And you had Scott Robertson on the other side, so that was our midfield.
Yeah.
Basically, Clark, I know Barry Smith helped him out at times. You could tell Kev was destined for big things.
Yeah, he looked good. He's still kicking on well. I think is he still at Fulham? Aye, that's right.
I think he's at Fulham, aye.
Yeah, I mean, he's done well. He's done really well in his career. Obviously, a lot of players go down to England and kick on, but he kicked on really well. He done really well. Really. But yeah, brilliant. Who have we got on the right side of midfield?
On the right side, so it's another Wycombe teammate. So it's a young guy called Josh Glenn, who's now at QPR.
Yep.
So I first joined Wycombe. I could just remember being in training, and there was this tiny wee lad. He must be about 5'6" and like 4 stone dripping wet. And I'm just thinking, like, obviously asking the boys how's he, and he was like, oh, he wasn't really in the picture until the gaffer brought him back off on loan for a non-league team, and just unbelievable attitude. Like I said, he was tiny. He was like a wee terror. He could play like in the sitting role, like where I've got makes, but getting forward, he could do everything. He was so fit. He was quick, so aggressive. For a wee boy, got around the pitch well, and just a guy that, regardless who you were playing, you knew. You kind of knew what kind of performance you're getting off him. And again, it was just a case of being at Wycombe was saying, like, how long will it be till somebody comes in and takes him, and no QPR paid a reasonable fee for him, and I know he's playing regularly down there. So yeah. And again, he's a top lad. So it's a good balance in the midfield three, I feel.
Definitely, couldn't agree more. We'll move on to right wing. Who's in there?
Right wing. So it's this was easy. My front three was really easy. So on the right wing, I've went for Snoddy.
Yep.
So I was fortunate to play with Snoddy at Livingston. Didn't have the greatest of times there. Robbo sent him out on loan, and he went to Stirling Albion and just lit it up. And then got his move. Second season at Livingston when Mark Proctor came in.
Yeah.
Just lit it up. He was just magical. I think he went away. I think it was the under-19 World Cup and came back a different player. And as you can see, every single level he's kicked on again.
Yeah.
So he went to Leeds, at Hull, kicked on, and obviously West Ham. So just something. I know when he was younger, he was branded the next Wayne Rooney, but just a match winner. And you can see it. He scored hat-tricks for Scotland, and I know he's not playing just now at West Ham due to injury, but just a what a talent, and a great attitude. I know it's well documented that he likes a laugh and a joke, and likes a bit of carry on, but unbelievable attitude, fit as a fiddle. I know when he was younger, didn't really look after himself until I think they got his agents, Lee Matthews and Marco Byrne for SMI, kind of got a hold of him and just says, look, this is what you can do. And Gary McAllister took a chance on him at Leeds.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They can say it's history, but what a talent. Could do everything, go by players, could score goals. Wasn't scared working his quarter either, so it's not a bad right winger.
Brilliant. Absolutely. And we'll move on to left wing. Who's on the other side?
Left wing, it's Snodsy's partner in crime. It was Graham Dorns.
Right, okay.
When we were at Livingston, that was the two guys I had on either side of me. So I was spoiled really.
Yeah.
Game back that season when Matt Proctor took over for us, him and Snoddy went to under-19 World Cup and came back, and Dorns was just special that year. Handley won his games, played on wide left. Inverness Cali tried to buy him, and I think they lost it. I think it was $5,000 the difference.
Right.
I know Matt Proctor buys at West Brom, so that's why he went to West Brom. But
yeah,
down, I knew that physicality he would probably struggle, but within a year and a half, he was playing regularly, and then 2.5 years later, he was Championship Player of the Year.
Yeah, Jinky was unlucky with injuries as well.
I think if you look at his stats down south, they're frightening.
Yeah.
For a boy his size, he went and dominated the Championship, and he played middle of the park.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And even when he went to Norwich, he'd done the exact same. He dominated the middle of the park. And I think when he came up to Rangers, I think that's when he's been really unlucky with injury. Yeah. I was surprised that Stevie Gerrard let him go, whether it be through financial whatnot. But to me, I think he could still do a job for Scotland. He's that good.
Yeah, he's just moved to Australia, hasn't he?
He's just signed for a team in the A-League, so I'm disappointed he's leaving Britain.
Definitely,
but again, talent, top player, and a really, really good lad.
Brilliant. And we'll move on to the final position. Who's taking the role up top? Who's the striker?
It's Faddy. James McFadden. Aye. I think that you can only maybe say in your life there's maybe 2 or 3 players that you can say could single-handedly win a match, and Faddy was one of them. When I went to Motherwell, especially my first season, we partnered each other a lot, and single-handedly, I don't know how many games he won for us. Just at times a genius.
Yeah.
A genius. And obviously, we played in a pre-season tournament. That's our pre-season friendly against Fulham, where they had to host internationals, and I think we drew 3-3, and he scored 2, and that's when he got his move to Everton after that. And you can just see when he went down there. I know it was a bit fits and starts at the beginning, but what a career he had. And even when he went to Birmingham, he was hugely successful. And to me, he's a Scotland legend, and it's good to see him on the TV now, and still keep his hand in at the coaching, because I think he's really good at it. But regards to being a player, top player.
Yeah. See that season he was at, the last season he was at Motherwell when he got the big move. Like, how obviously Motherwell finished bottom of the league that season, but how important was he to that team? Just I remember the game against Rangers. He was absolutely sensational. That was a Boxing Day game. Just how good a player was he, even at that age?
It was. I've had this conversation a few times, and I think Terry Butcher managed him perfectly. He knew he was, you can say, like a maverick or an enigma or things like that, but he just let him go and do his thing.
Yeah.
And if he got the ball 10 times, he'd keep it 5. But they 5 times, the 5 times he would lose it, but they 5 times he kept it, he would get you something like a corner or a shot and goal, or he'd get one of the booked. He would just. We played Clyde in a Scottish Cup tie, I remember, at Broadwood, and it was a horrible day, and we won 2-0, but it was 2 flashes of genius for him. Yeah. Remember his second half line, he ran 30 odd yards and he put it past the goalie, and that's what he was capable of. And I think he was only maybe 20, 21 at the time. Just a genius. Sometimes with the ball at his feet, you never ever knew like where he was going to take some down, where he was going to pass, but again, he just had a great attitude, a will to win, and like I said, I was just fortunate to. You can probably see, I think, the Scottish Cup semi-final that we got beat 4-3 off Rangers that year.
That's right.
He was for 35 minutes, the first 35, but probably the last 35 minutes of the first half, he just ran the show. Yeah. Then go and just a great all-round player, and I think it's been a long time since Scotland's produced somebody of that ilk, that kind of breed, or somebody would go and take players on and make things happen and excite the crowd.
Brilliant. I couldn't agree more with everything you've just said about him there. But it's a very, very good team. Like, is there any that just kind of missed out?
Aye, so I've got 3 names that just kind of missed out. So I was fortunate to partner with Sparky on his debut for Livingston, with Lee Griffiths.
Right, okay.
So I even knew then that I never thought he would go right to the top, but where he is at Celtic in regards to his career, I could never have doubted that. One natural finishers I've ever came across. Get it on his left side and have a shot, and I get a wee bit frustrated with the amount of bad press and things get wrote about him, because if you ask anybody that's played with him, he's a top lad. Okay. I think a lot of it's unwanted, just a top lad, and I think you can count in the last maybe 5 to 10 years how many natural goal scorers we've had, and he's one. Even the other night, he plays 3 or 4 minutes, comes on, scores a penalty. There's never any doubt. Mm-hmm. I would love to see him get back in the Celtic team, which I'm no doubt missing, and get back to on the scoring charts, because he's the way I would describe him, he's just a goal machine. Yeah, definitely. And is there anybody else? You're not 2 people. So I played with a striker at Wycombe, a guy called Dean Morgan. So Morgs was probably the biggest enigma I've ever played with. I used to look at him sometimes and think, like, you could play for England, you're that good. And then other times I think, like, you're struggling to get a game for non-league. Great lad, but just had a chink in his armour where if he fancied it, he fancied it. And if he didn't, then you kind of knew that, oh, we're in for a bit of a long day here. But what a talent. Had some played for some big clubs, Chesterfield and things like that. A lot of loan moves, so a lot of teams. But again, really, really good lad. But on his day, he could have been an England international. He was that good.
Definitely.
And the last name, you probably have a wee chuckle to this, but I just thought I couldn't really no mention him, was when I was at Dundee and Big Bobby Man.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So on a few eyebrows will be raised at that, but Bobby Man had probably the best feet I've ever seen in from a defender.
Yeah.
Right and left. If you speak to anybody in Inverness Crawley or even the current team at Dundee when we were there, just in boxes and possession and passing, never ever gave the ball away. And I think, if that's been well documented, if Bob had a yardie pace, he would have been a Scottish international without a shadow of a doubt. And a good leader, a guy that you wanted to play for. He definitely got the best out that Dundee team that year anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. The team's amazing. I think that team could have them there again.
Well, I hope it would definitely. I think the front three would frighten any defenders, especially in Scotland. So, a few goals there.
Definitely. Stephen, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on, mate. I can't thank you enough for taking part. I really enjoyed it.
No problem, mate. Pleasure being all mine.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Cheers.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.